What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Today, we're going to talk about roommates.
Oh, God.
Everyone's got roommate stories, and of
Yep.
course, we do too. As youngsters, we always dream about the day we finally move out of our parents' house. What we never dream about is the people that we might have to live with because rent is more expensive than our child minds could ever fathom.
Right.
When you move to a major city like New York, Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles, San Francisco, unless you got money like that, you're going to need to live with someone.
Yeah.
A roommate is a necessity. And it can make the difference between you actually enjoying some part of a life or just being broke and poor forever.
Yeah.
Roommates comes with their advantages, such as someone helping pay rent, someone split the bills, someone to be home so your house doesn't get robbed or broken into, someone to help out in case you need an extra hand, someone to keep you sane in case you're one of these people that can't be alone for too long.
Look at what's happening in the world now, the pandemic. A lot of people are home alone with no one to talk to.
I feel bad for those people because even when I'm home with someone, it still takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
So shout out to all those people living alone right now during the pandemic. Hang in there.
Yeah.
Naturally, you think, I want to live with my friend. We're so close that we're never going to have a problem. Well, after today's podcast, you may think differently.
Yeah.
Some would say rooming with your friends is a terrible idea.
I learned that the hard way.
You end up losing friends that way.
Did that too.
Sometimes it may be emotionally less draining to just room with someone you really don't know like that. I wouldn't say go as far as rooming with a stranger off of Craigslist and get murdered in 2 months. But maybe just an acquaintance or someone you know that's recommended by a friend. Say your friend knows someone that needs a roommate. Something like that. Not murderers on Craigslist.
Right.
As for me personally, I've roomed with actual friends. And it's been an interesting journey to say the least. Let's see, my first roommate was a childhood friend of mine. I had just known he was just this little introvert. His mom never took him out. Didn't think anything of it. I didn't know I was expected to be his mother when he moved in with me. I knew he didn't know how to cook or really go buy groceries or no life skills. So we came up with this system, right? My girlfriend and I would go get the groceries and then we would cook and leave food for him. You know, we'd eat our meals together, split the groceries 3 ways. We'd cook dinner. Sometimes he wouldn't be there to eat it with us. So we would put it in Tupperware and put it in the microwave. We'd go in our room and do our own thing. We'd see he'd come home from work. We would hear him rustle around the house like, oh, okay, the roommate's home. We come out of our room 15 minutes later. We see him in the living room with like a bag of Taco Bell. We're like, why didn't you eat dinner? Oh, you guys made some? Yeah, we make dinner every night. I even text you and said we made dinner. Oh, I didn't see it. I literally put it in the microwave or in the oven, just so it stays warm and stuff. This dude tells me, oh, my mom usually leaves it on the stovetop.
Oh, my God.
I was like, okay, but I told you it was in the microwave. I told you that the other night too.
Right.
I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm like, whatever, As time went on, I kept forgetting to leave it on the stovetop because I didn't want to just leave it on the stovetop.
Right.
It looks kind of cluttery. I just put it out of sight. I didn't think I needed to do more than tell him where the food was.
Right.
Next time we cooked a meal and he wasn't there, put it in the microwave. The same place as last time. Text him. Came home. Left to go get Taco Bell and came right back.
What the hell?
Why didn't you eat dinner? Oh, you guys cooked? Like, it was like Groundhog's Day. It was like, again? Yeah, you guys didn't leave it out for me.
Oh,
I shouldn't have to leave it out for you.
What a baby.
Should I be a bird mom too and chew it up for you and spit it in your mouth? And he literally would not eat the food unless it was on the stovetop. Since I hate seeing food get wasted and sometimes I didn't want to eat his share, I'd wait for him to come home and tell him, hey, the food's in the microwave. I'm thinking, okay, wipe my hands clean. I've done my job. Go off in my room, do whatever. Guess what?
Oh no.
Guess what? I would come out and he would have another bag of like Subway or Taco Bell or whatever he went to go get. He just refused to look for the food. If it wasn't on the
What
stovetop,
the
he
hell?
wouldn't eat it. It was just irking me that he was just wasting food, wasting money. I was trying to help him out financially because there was times where he'd be like a week short on rent, and he didn't realize that he was spending so much money going out to eat. That's why he was so broke all the time. I was like, dude, your little $8 runs to Taco Bell add up.
Wow.
Especially if you're doing it
Yeah.
every day. You're doing it like 5-6 days a week.
I still can't believe he just wouldn't open the microwave and look for food,
microwave-
even after you just told him. That's
was-
ridiculous. You
And
about to just call his mom and send him home.
yeah, finally, okay, let's fast forward to when I finally got sick of him. We had lived together for a good year. It's not like I just kicked him out. We told him, hey, once we renew the lease, you got to move out. Because my girlfriend and I, we made enough money to pay for our own space. And, he kind of knew the deal. We told him, hey, we'll all live together for a year, see how it goes. And this was my first apartment. I didn't know how much money I was going to spend or not spend. So, this was our trial run. The 1 year comes around. He's moved his stuff out. I'm thinking he's out. Couple weeks into it, I get a message from the manager asking, why is there a third car in my driveway? The apartment had rules that you couldn't have an extra car
Yeah.
unless they knew about it. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, for the past couple weeks, there's been a car there. She described the car. Guess who it was? It was Mr. I don't eat food out the microwave.
Oh my God.
He made himself a copy of his key, gave me back his original. He was still coming over to the apartment after he moved out.
What? What the hell? Why?
It was some borderline psychopath shit. I had the impression he found a new place to move to. No, he just moved back to his mom's house. He got used to having cable and internet. His mom lived out in the sticks and she didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So he would come over to our house
Oh hell
and use
no.
our resources.
What the hell? And you guys didn't notice?
We didn't know this for weeks or months. I forgot how long it was, but we didn't know this for a while until the manager was trying to get us on some, why aren't you guys paying for another parking spot?
Right. He didn't have a car when you guys lived together?
He did, but the management knew about it. But when we renewed the lease,
gotcha, okay.
we said there was only 2 people, 2 cars, so we paid a certain amount.
Gotcha.
Then it gets worse.
Oh no.
He was bringing this girl over.
The audacity. Are you serious?
We had talked to the manager. We're like, we don't have anyone, so let us know what you see, because he was coming over at the same time every day.
Oh shit.
So she watched and described. She's like, yeah, this guy, he's this tall Asian guy. He drives a Honda Civic. Then she described the girl. I'm like, I know exactly who that is. By that time, I knew these two were seeing each other. We set up a sting operation for him.
Oh shit.
We both left for work, waited about an hour, and then we came back home and caught him in the house.
Damn.
He was all up on the couch, with the girl on his arm, just
Oh
kissing up on her.
hell no. He didn't hear you come in?
No, he didn't, because he was so distracted. Because we
What
came
the
in like
hell?
quietly and everything, and we slowly opened the door and hey.
Oh my God. What an idiot.
He was just like, oh, my bad. And
My bad.
just kind of grabbed the girl, and she's like, what's going on? Don't you live here? Oh, yeah.
Damn.
We bitched his ass out.
That's ridiculous. Made a copy for himself. He must have thought this through.
He did.
Because he knows, by now, he probably knows your schedule
Yeah.
and knows what time you leave. And oh my God, that's some ridiculous ass shit. I'm glad
Yeah.
he was at least your friend and you knew him and you knew he wasn't going to do anything like, I mean, I guess he is psycho at the end of the day for doing that. Or
Yeah,
thinking
just
like
coming back to the house, just chilling, bringing girls over.
damn, that's some tall balls shit. I've never even heard of that before. Never in my
Who
life.
knows? He could have my bathrobe on, just walking around the house.
Exactly. Oh my God. But I'm saying, like, at least he wasn't gonna steal your stuff, or
Yeah,
at least,
yeah.
as far as you knew. But
Yeah.
like, damn.
Yeah. That didn't end the friendship, but that really hindered our friendship for a while. Like, I didn't even talk to him for almost a year after that.
That'd be awkward as hell. I wouldn't even know how to talk to someone after that. Especially if I knew them like that. It's like, you're kind of weird, dude. Whoa.
Yep. And that was my first roommate out the gate.
So I had this friend in high school. We had been long-term friends ever since we were in kindergarten.
Yeah.
We was tight. We was home skillet biscuits. You know, that was my BFF.
Home skillet biscuits.
We was tight. We was thick as thieves. We both always had this fantasy, like, oh, after high school, we're going to go to college and we're going to live together and be roommates.
Yeah.
It's going to be so much fun. We're going to be like sisters. I'm an only child, and she's got sisters, but her sisters are a lot older than she is. So she's, for the most part, was used to living as an only child in her household. So we were kind of like both in that mindset, like, yeah, you know, it'd be nice to have someone to be there all the time for us, and we can be like sisters, and we can do this and that. And one time came around where she had to stay with me for maybe like a month, it seemed like, because her house was getting fumigated. We thought it was going to be a blast. Like, we thought we were going to have so much fun. And this is going to be our taste of seeing what it's like to have a roommate and shit.
Slumber party every night.
I know. And we went to the same high school and everything. So my mom would carpool us and take us to school every day. You know, everything was fine. It started off okay. But because me and her were both used to being the only child, we both had our own schedules, our own mindsets. So it was fun at first, but then like it just came to a point where she was getting a little too comfortable being in my space, and she just wanted me to do what she wanted to do at some point. She just wanted me to stop doing my homework and play video games with her or do whatever with her. It's just like, and I didn't have internet in my house either, so all we had was like video games. I'm like, I kind of have to do my homework and do this and go do something else. And she's like, no, I need you to do this, and I want to do this. It's like, it was all about her because she's used to her whole world just revolving around her. So that kind of threw me for a loop because I wasn't used to that. I was used to being in my own little world, so I'm like, no, it's all about me. I'm going to do this. So it went from that to like, she would just be all up in my closet, picking out clothes from my wardrobe to wear to school the next day.
Oh, no.
And she was like a little bigger than me because for the longest time I was very, very, very small. I was very petite, but she was kind of like, I guess, normal size.
Yeah.
She wasn't like fat or anything, but like she was just bigger than me.
Yeah.
And then she also wore like bigger size shoes than me.
Yeah.
I just saw like half my wardrobe in the room that she was staying in. I'm like, where is my sweater? Where are my shoes? The last straw, she took my Chuck Taylors. I wore those damn shoes every day. I love those shoes so much. She's like, oh, those will look cute on me, don't you think? No. She wore a size 10 and I wore a size 8. So you can only imagine. I'm like, you're not about to stretch out my Chuck Taylors.
Yeah.
You are not about to.
You ain't about to put your Shaquille O'Neal feet in my shoes.
And she was wearing my belts, like my little petite belts, and I had like the cutest stuff because my my aunt would buy me like the coolest things, and she was taking my belts. I'm like, you can't even fit it. It won't even go around your waist. Not to be rude or anything, but it's just like one of those things where you don't want to say anything because that's your friend. You don't want to make her feel bad or anything like that. So in a nice way, it was trying to tell her, it doesn't fit you. Just no. I was so mad. Like, it's bad enough you trying to squeeze into my Chuck Taylors, and now you got my belt halfway up her chest because she can get it around her waist.
Nah.
It was overstepping too many boundaries in my eyes because I'm used to just having my own space and my own things.
Yeah, especially being an only child.
Yeah, and so is she. And she was worse about it. I didn't expect someone to come in and take the little stuff that I had, you know?
Yeah, and those things don't even fit her. Like, those are your clothes. Like, imagine you doing laundry and you're like, who stretched out my pants? My underwears are stretched out. This bitch got a dookie stain in my underwear?
I was like, oh, hell no.
You gonna murder that bitch.
But she was also the kind of person who was used to getting everything that she wanted because her mom and her dad would just fawn over her and just bend over backwards for this girl. She had internet. She had all her music. She had a Walkman. She had an iPod before I did. She had a car before I did. It was just one of those things where she was just
apparently didn't have clothes.
She had everything, and she even clothes. She had better clothes than me, but for some reason, she decided to go in my closet and see what I had. It's like my clothes aren't even like that special, but they're my shit, and that's what I like. But you just over here my shit, you know. At some point, before her house was even finished being fumigated and stuff, we both kind of just walked away. She's like, I kind of want to go back to where her parents were at the time. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want you to go over there and be with your parents. I kind of need my space back. And we're thank goodness we didn't end our friendship over it, but we just mutually had the same conclusion. Just like, we got to part ways for now because I can't live with you. You can't live with me. And we just going to have to end this right now before we kill each other. And that was my first taste of having a roommate.
To me, that's just as bad, too. Sometimes short-term roommates are annoying, too. They know they're not going to be there that long.
Yeah.
So they kind of do take advantage of stuff. I had a friend who got kicked out of his mom's house. I knew I shouldn't have taken him in.
Yeah.
Grown-ass man.
Doesn't even know where the food is.
No. Oh. Different guy.
Oh, okay.
No, this guy knew where the food was. That was the problem.
Oh, Jesus.
He was staying with me for free until he got back on his feet. I told him specifically, here, this is your food rations. Do not eat more than this. I can't afford to raise another adult in my house.
Right. And it's not your responsibility,
Yeah.
too.
I'm like, I know you ain't got no money to pay rent, but at least have some money for food. He kind of had like a part-time ass job where he was maybe working 1 day a week. He probably made enough money just to buy food. This dude probably bought food, but he would go get like expensive takeout. I'm like, you just blew your whole measly check on like 2 meals for the week. And then he'd be up in my house just eating all the convenience food, like frozen pizza or like chicken nuggets, like things you just put in the oven and heat up.
It's not yours.
Exactly. I told him he could eat what we cooked because I was living with someone else. Me and that guy had the same system. You know, we would just cook food together and just split it.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, you know, we'll cook food for you too. It's the cheapest option anyway.
Yeah.
We both had like convenience items to take to work.
Yeah.
This dude was just laying up on the couch eating up all the Hot Pockets and all the food for work.
An asshole.
Yeah, I kicked him out after like, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here.
Right. Eating me out of house and home.
With your Hot Pocket eating ass.
Ugh, that's the worst.
Quick side story about him getting kicked out. He went to one of my other boys' house. He didn't eat my homie's food, but he wore his clothes like your friend did.
What the hell is this guy's problem?
And he did go as far as wearing my boy's underwear.
Oh, what? I thought you were going to say something completely different, but his underwear?
I remember that conversation because these two guys were a part of our hip-hop crew. They would travel with us on the road. I went to go pick them up. They were living at the same house. These two are in the backseat of the car. He's like, yo, did you take my boxers again? I can't find my lucky red boxers. What? Oh, yeah, man, I got them on right here.
Ew.
He yanked them up.
What a weirdo.
Yeah.
Who would wear someone else's drawers? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, I would have to kill somebody. At that point, just keep it.
I know, these two are arguing in the
back.
background. But did you at least wash them? Well, where'd you get them? Out the hamper? Dude, those are dirty.
Oh, my God. What the hell is wrong with this dude?
So the one dude thought the boxers he pulled out the hamper were just laundry that wasn't put away yet. He's like, dude, dirty laundry goes in the hamper. Clean laundry goes back in my dresser.
My God. I give up.
So not only did he wear his boy's underwear, he wore his boy's dirty underwear. And since we were already on the road, I didn't turn around for him to change. You are wearing dirty underwear for the next couple hours because we're going to the show. We're already late.
Oh. And what? Did I can't, I have no words. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. Because you would literally have to go in someone's room and like see a pile of clothes somewhere and just pick something out, not even knowing if it's clean or not. I wonder if you even smelled it. These are questions I need answered.
I think that'd be even worse if you just sniffed someone's underwear hoping they were clean.
And why would you even do that? What in your brain is telling you that it's okay to go in someone's room and pick up some underwear you just see laying around and put them on?
Especially dudes' underwear.
I wouldn't put on anyone's underwear.
I'd rather just go commando.
I know. I wouldn't even wear my own dirty underwear.
I just let my nuts swing like George of the Jungle. I'm putting someone else's leaves on my boys.
Oh, why you have to paint a picture for it?
'Cause
Why?
I'm an artiste.
Why?
Paint.
Oh. That's some new shit. That is some brand new shit.
I lived with my best friend once. For the most part, it was a very pleasant experience. And it came with some perks. He was a big gamer and big movie buff. He would either be buying or renting all the latest stuff, so I never had to go get any media. Where things got interesting was when he started drinking. He wasn't a belligerent, crazy, annoying drunk. His drunkenness kind of like was different. I did have a girl over. I was about to make her this bomb-ass romantic dinner with shrimp and lobster tails and shit, right? The food was all there. I'm like, good. But then all the kitchenware was gone. The dishes, the pots and pans. I'm like,
Oh my God.
did someone break in my house and steal all my pots and pans and dishes? So I'm freaking out, thinking, what kind of crazy bastard does this? Take something else. Take my computer. Take my TV.
Right.
Why are you going to take my dishes?
That's a new one.
It felt personal that someone was messing with me. I'm just
Yeah.
losing my mind. Let's just go out to eat. Came back home. The dishes reappeared.
I guess the thief didn't want them.
Yeah,
Well, my
yeah.
dish is not good enough for you.
Ghost dishes.
These dishes suck. Just brought them back.
Yeah, the thief broke in the house and brought them back. Oh, man, that's a bigger insult. Man, these pans ain't even non-stick. Okay, so fast forward another couple weeks. Trying to have another date night. Go to the kitchen, and most of the stuff is gone again. Finally, I snapped. So then I went to go ask the roommate, because he was home this time. I knock on his door. As his door opens up, I see all our dishes lined up against his wall.
Oh my God.
Why are you hoarding our dishes? Oh, my bad, dude. I didn't want to leave dirty dishes for you to wash, so I hoard them in my room until I clean them.
That's like, what? That was kind of I can't even get words out. I keep stumbling over my. That's like trying to be considerate, but in a weird way. It's like, yeah, that's great, but like, I don't know where my dishes are, and I didn't know where they were last week either.
Yeah.
Would I rather see a bunch of dirty dishes in the kitchen, though? I don't know. That's like
Yeah.
that's like trying to be considerate, but like you're doing it. You're like missing a couple steps there.
I didn't know what to say either. I wanted to be mad, but I was so confused at what was going on. I had never heard of this ever. I'd never heard of somebody.
Never heard that either.
I had never heard of someone hoarding dirty dishes in their room until it was time to clean it.
I remember once that my mom had a roommate after I moved out of the house. The lady just had dishes in her room because she didn't want to clean them. And I understand that, but like your friend is saying, oh, well, I just didn't want you to see dirty dishes. Like, excuse me. It's like, should I say thank you or be mad? That'd be a confusing moment for me right there.
Yeah. Apparently, he had been doing that for the past 2 years we lived together. I just never noticed because he never let them hoard up that bad.
Yeah.
It's like I knew he would make dinner and go eat in his room. I got that, so I expected a dish or two.
Why
And
the pots and pans, though? That's weird.
I
Was he
don't
cooking
know.
in his room?
Maybe he had Jesus over and he cooked the Last Supper again.
Or did he just cook something and just brought the pan with him and just ate out the pan because he
Probably.
because he didn't have any clean
He
dishes?
ran out of dishes. That makes sense.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Like I said, mild problems, but weird.
Like, should I be mad or never mind? I'll get back to you later. I'll write you a note
Yeah.
once I figure this out.
He was super obsessed with the video game Rock Band. He had the entire set. He had the guitar, the drums,
Oh, okay.
just the whole band. He would play that by himself. He would master all the instruments, right?
Damn.
I started dating this girl. She would bring her friends over.
Mm-hmm.
He used to leave his door open to lure her friends in to play Rock Band with him.
Oh, wow. I know, because if I was into that kind of thing and I saw someone have the whole complete set, I would kind of feel tempted too.
Yeah. One night, the girls came home from drinking at the bars and they were just kind of drunk. And then it worked. He was just sitting there and the girls like, oh my God, is that Rock Band? He had never had so many girls in his room in his life.
Oh, wow.
Or ever. So the girl just started jamming. Each girl played an instrument. Someone was even singing along. And then my girlfriend was just like, damn you. First the dishes, now my friends. And then from that moment on, every time he heard like voices, his door would slowly creak open like a horror movie.
It's like, what's that?
And
hey,
it
guys.
was weird how it happened. He would be in the far end of the room, and I would sit there like, how do you open that door? I bet you he had like a string, and he pulled the door open.
Oh, my God.
Because there's no way he could have opened it and ran back to the other side of the room. And
maybe he did.
maybe he was just that quick. Maybe he had practiced. I don't know. But again, it didn't bother me personally because it didn't affect me.
Right. Again, confusing moment.
I remember once I had left for a gig. We went to go perform someplace like 4 hours away, and we came back that same night. My girl at the time, she had thrown a party while we were gone. She told me she was going to have some people over, but I didn't know how lit this party was. I'm looking at the pictures. There's like 40, 50 people in her house.
What?
I'm looking through the pictures. I'm scrolling through her camera, and guess who I see? Mr. Dish Hoarder laying on the floor, a foot in front of his bedroom door. It looks like he was trying to make it back to his room, and he just passed out before he got to the door.
Oh, my God.
You see something green in his hand. I zoom in on the picture, and he's got our dog's little chew toy in his hand, and he's just face down, chew toy in his hand, just knocked out.
Wow. That's crazy.
He drank and got drunk, but he didn't harm anybody.
Right.
Just those kind of things were happening. So
Well, I guess he's not bothering anyone.
I
So
couldn't be mad about it. I know Shauna's been waiting to talk about this. We moved to LA with a very close friend of mine. On paper, sounded like it was going to work out, but we wouldn't be talking about it if it did.
Right.
So this was like a ride or die friend of mine from way back in when I lived in Michigan even. I promised I would give him a second chance at life. Things weren't going well for him in Michigan. Tried to bring him to Chicago, he didn't go. But for some reason, LA was it for him. Kind of knew about his womanizing ways.
His sexcapades.
His sexcapades, no judgment, get your freak on, but be respectful. You're not only just living with me, you're living with a woman as well. He knows me. I can tolerate his bullshit. I've known him for years. But I'm like, Shana is a different story. So he tried to tell us that he is trying to do right by Jesus. He wanted to fix his life. He said he was celibate.
I remember a whole hour and a half conversation of him just breaking it down, just talking about all of his negative ways and all of his experiences and how he was going to turn a new leaf and be a good boy. I'm like, all right,
We had a pre-move meeting a year before we came out here just because we wanted to draw the lines then and there. We're like,
right.
We're moving to LA in a year. This is what we expect. Are you okay with that? So, Shana, explain what your history with him was and how you guys vibe, because I think that would make what happened be more impactful.
Well, after that meeting that we had, I had already known like what he was about. We weren't close, but we got along.
You guys were cool.
We were cool.
You guys were around each other enough.
Yeah. Anytime we go out to a party or something like that, he'd always say like, well, I have no vices except to be with women, to have sex. And he did not drink, he did not smoke, did no drugs, nothing. Completely clean, So knowing that going into it, it was fine. We would talk about it all the time. Like
Yeah.
he would tell me stories. We'd laugh about it.
Yeah, he was always honest with Shauna. He didn't hold back just because she
Nah.
was a girl. I mean, he would tell us ridiculous shit like he had sex in a tree with this
Yeah.
girl while her dad was sweeping the back porch. Like that's the kind of stuff that he would tell Shauna too.
Yeah.
He didn't hold back.
It was funny. Like I had a lot of fun talking to him about his sexcapades, his like weird sexual fantasies and stuff like that. Like it was never a big deal until he moved in, until we were all in the same space. Him as a roommate, he would come and go as he pleased, but for the most part, like during the day, he would just be in the living room in our shared space all damn day. Like it would be days where if he didn't have to work, he would just be there from sun up till sundown, just on his laptop. No, not even his laptop, on your laptop.
On my laptop. So a quick note about that. When we came here, we originally were going to thug it out and just get like a 1-bedroom apartment to save as much money as we can. Sean and I were going to take the bedroom. He was going to sleep in the living room. But then just the way things worked out, we ended up getting a 2-bedroom. But to make the rent affordable for him, we split the rent 3 ways. With that said, we each claimed a room. I gave him his own room just so he could have his own space.
Yeah.
Shauna claimed the bedroom so she could do what she wanted to do with it. Then I claimed the living room as my quote unquote bedroom so I could put what I wanted in there because I had a lot of like my electronics and stuff. So I needed a space to call my own. We had that understanding. Technically, the living room was my room. Since that's where the TV and the PlayStation was, I was okay with him being in there when I wasn't home. So those were the rules.
So moving out here, you were the only one who had a steady job. Me and him did a lot of acting work. To find work like that, you have to have a computer and have to find work that was available. You gave him the laptop being courteous, like you can use it. You didn't give it to him, but you let him use it.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to use it in his room and just find work that way, and I could use the computer. That was originally the plan. After we got our couch and everything, it did not take him long to just be on that couch every day looking for work. It got to a point where his ass groove was just in the couch. You knew that that was his spot because he would sit on the chase part of the couch and he would just be there all damn day. The computer was outside in the living room. We gave him that laptop so he could be in his room, and that was the understanding. Like you said, I get the bedroom, you get the living room, and he gets his own room that he never hardly was in ever until he had to go to bed or something. It really didn't bother me too much until it was something like my birthday came around or if we were just watching a movie.
Yeah.
I remember one year on my birthday, you had came home with like a present and was trying to be like romantic about it. Where was he? On that same part of the couch with the laptop in his lap, looking over every once in a while. Oh, hey, that's a cool present. Hey, what'd you get me? Dude,
Just
what?
totally ruining the moment.
I know. Like, you came home with flowers and gifts and just showering me with love, and here he is. And that's funny over there. I'm like, can you mind your own business?
Yeah.
That's a nice bouquet of flowers. Dude.
Just ruining the moment and cock blocking at the same time.
He did not get the hint. Or if we were watching a movie, he's like, oh, what's that? Just sitting there in the exact same spot watching our movie with us.
He just didn't understand we were trying to spend time alone, time together.
Yeah.
During that time, I was working like 10 to 12 hour shifts. He had the whole day to be out there, but yet he would never just give me my space.
Nah.
Even if it was just me, I would get annoyed of seeing him, which I did get annoyed. There was times that I knew coming home, you were at work. I had a long day at work. I'm just trying to decompress and just play a video game, watch a movie, and he'd just be right there just talking my ear off, talking to me while I'm playing this game, while I'm watching a movie.
When it comes to acting work, you could be at work like during the daytime or during the evening time. So there would be times where he would be gone all morning, but then like you would come home after working a whole long day, and then he would come out in the middle of the night just like chatting it up. I was like, dude, can you go away?
And I would just sit there getting frustrated, like, why are we splitting the rent 3 ways then?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you want to be in the living room so much, then I will take the bedroom.
Right.
You can be out here all day. I didn't care because I would just keep myself cooped up in that room just so I can have my own space.
Right. Because it was fun at first, but at some point we were all stressed out and we all needed our alone time or just our decompression time to where we can, be relaxed after a long day and stuff
Yeah.
like that. We just couldn't do that.
At least for you and I, it's not like we just wanted space to have space. You use the bedroom to craft. And to be able just to leave your work in progress set up,
Right.
not to inconvenience the rest of the apartment. Like you could have easily just crafted out in the living room or the dining room and just left all your shit out there, but you didn't want to do that. I needed my own space because I wanted a place where I could just know it was going to be clean. If I wanted to film like a video or something like
Right.
that, it was already good to go. I didn't want to have to like pick up after you crafting or pick up after him, but yet there he was, knowing that. Like, dude, you're in my workspace.
So continuing on with his other bad habits, after we got that squared away, he was like bringing people over and like having sleepovers, and I'm like, oh, well, I thought you was trying to find God, and you turn over a new leaf and you trying to be re-virginized and shit. Like I thought you were celibate. Quick side note: the type of company he attracts is the wrong kind of company. Like he attracts crazy. The girls that he chooses to share his company with are a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
That's a nice way of saying it. He, for some reason, is a magnet for crazy bitches and wild hoes.
Oh, yeah.
For lack of better words, I've met some of the girls he's brought home in the past, and they are self-proclaimed hoes. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm a hoe. Like, all right, cool. Nice to meet you, ho.
Okay, so you want to have a girl over? Fine, it's none of my business. It was like girl after girl after girl after girl. So where I'm like, they need to start paying rent. Like these people need to start paying like a cover fee because you over here running a Motel 6 over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because you attract crazy people, I don't know who you're inviting into our house. Like me and you had game consoles and expensive stuff. You had your camera gear, your video gear, stuff like that.
Yeah, he had nothing but a basket of clothes and some dumbbells.
Some old DVDs.
Yeah,
and shit.
and a box of old-ass Blockbuster special DVDs, and that's it.
He doesn't have anything for anyone to steal.
Yeah.
Even on a bad day. It's like nobody wants your dirty clothes and your dirty air mattress and stuff like that. If you're going to bring people over, at least let it be someone that you know or trust. He was just bringing over random strays. First, you came out here trying to be celibate and shit and like saying that you're going to calm all that down. And now you want to bring random people over?
People he just met on set or on the bus.
Yeah, and these are just like strays, like straight up strays. Someone he might have just said hi to and just, they followed him back home, basically.
Yep.
I just didn't think, like, when he said he was a hoe, I didn't think he meant a hoe with like 32 O's.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I woke up one day minding my own business. I had my headphones on. I'm jamming to my music, not even thinking about anything. Making my breakfast. I turned on anime, started watching anime, sitting on a couch, just having a great old time. In the midst of all that, I turn around and I see this white girl just in the middle of my living room staring at me. I'm like, I nearly just dropped all of my breakfast on the floor. She scared me shitless. I'm like, who the are you?
It was like a horror movie.
Yeah.
You just turn around and then there's a little white girl right there.
I'm just like, who are you? Are you lost? Do you need to find your mom, young lady?
Are you a spirit? What's she look like?
Like Justin Bieber.
Oh, that's even scarier.
Like I was like a deer in headlights. I'm like, did you lose your mother? Like where are you coming from
How
right
did
now?
you get in my house?
Comes to find out, he's walking out behind her. Hey, Shana. And the mess up part was, he didn't even walk her out. Didn't he have the decency to do that? He pointed towards the door and was like, okay, there it is.
Yeah,
Bye.
so he opened the door and just made her walk herself out?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like Motel 6, basically. He just opened his bedroom door, pointed to where the actual door was, the front door, and just like sent her on her way.
Wow.
Didn't give her any cab fare, no nothing. She must have been on her way from school or something because she had her backpack, her books and stuff. I'm like, the hell? Like, where did this girl come from? I'm just shaking my head from the living room like, you ain't got no decency, do you?
He just literally met her on the bus hours prior.
It looked like it.
Yeah, he said he was on his way to set. Then I guess he invited her over at some point.
It was so bad to where I'm just like, they're going to need to sign some kind of sign out list because
I know.
I need to keep a head count of
doorman.
Yeah, it got that bad. So with all the girls coming in and out of the house, it bothered me because it was a whole bunch of people coming in and out of our home.
Yeah.
Me and him being cool like that, I'm just like, just joking about it, like, hey, you're running a motel over there and you're running some kind of brothel, huh? Like, nudging him in the ribs, like, huh? Like, trying to make it funny.
Yeah.
And I was saying, oh, because you're such a whore and you're so, like, free-spirited and all that. Pretty much just repeating what he had already called himself.
Yeah.
Thinking that we're cool, but he was just, like, on the fence about it a little bit. He was just like, oh, what do you mean I'm a whore? I'm like, isn't that the joke? Ha ha ha, you're a whore. Like, he was not laughing. He just kind of flipped a switch on me. I'm like, dude, I thought we were cool. Like, he just kind of went from 0 to 100 real quick. He just kind of like took that and had an attitude about it after that. And I kind of like low key felt like, you know, we weren't really cool anymore. Because I'm like, if I can't even talk about that or joke about it, even though you do it all the time, then I kind of was on the fence with him, like walking on eggshells a little bit, because it just turned from us being chummy to us just all of a sudden not being that cool enough to talk about something like that. It just came to that point where I'm just like, maybe I shouldn't say anything.
Fragile male egos. It was like he was in this weird place where mentally he thought he was the holier than thou celibate Christian that he was trying to be, but yet physically he was just out there humping around, for lack of better words.
Yeah, exactly. It made a situation that wasn't awkward into a very awkward situation. So I'm just like, you know what? We're not going to talk about this ever again. If your girls and your sex fantasies and stuff like that get a little bit out of control, then I'll talk to you about it seriously. But no more joking around. I'm not going to say nothing. One day comes around. He had car troubles like ever since he brought that car all the way out here from Chicago. He had car troubles on the way from Chicago to coming out here.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised his car made it as far as it did.
Yeah. His car had tons of problems already, but then the straw that broke the camel's back was his car caught on fire in our parking garage. He ran back inside of the house in a frenzy, like, my car's on fire, I don't know what to do. I'm like, but before he can even explain anything, I see him leaving the kitchen with like a big gulp.
A 7-Eleven big
gulp cup? A 7-Eleven
cup?
big gulp cup with water. And he's like explaining his car's on fire. I'm like, you're going to need more than a little cup.
Than
like
44
that.
Ounces of water.
I know. I'm like, you're going to need a hose or something. Or call the fire department. I didn't go out and see. Like, I'm going to let him deal with that shit. Like, that's your responsibility. If you're in trouble, I'm going to let you deal with it, because we're really not that cool anymore. With how touchy you are. I don't want to offend your car in any way. It's like, deal with it yourself. Wait, what happened, though, with your car? Why did it just catch on fire? And he's like, well, I was on my way to work, and then I smelled some smoke, like something was on fire, but I didn't think anything of it. But, you know, I got to work, and everything was fine. So I got back in the car after work to drive home, smelled that smoke smell again. But, you know, I still didn't think of anything of it. And then by the time I parked the car, the whole car was on fire. I was like, so you smelled the signs and got hints on the way to work and on the way back from work. And it wasn't until you got all the way back home conveniently. Good thing our car wasn't there, because our car would have caught on fire too, because who knows how big the fire was. Because, again, I didn't go out and investigate. I didn't even care. But I just wanted to know, because I'm like, how did your car just catch on fire?
Yeah. And the parking garage was under the building. There was no easy way to get that car out of there.
And come to think of it, where our apartment was right above where we parked. Literally right above where we parked. So I'm like, that could have been our ass, you know?
Yeah. If that fire got out of control, it would have burnt everything down. I didn't find out until Shana called me. He didn't call me.
He waited, like, he might have come home at around noon or something. It was early enough to where he could have called you and explained the situation, because by that time also, he was kind of stepping on your toes, being a reckless roommate, just being all kinds of rude.
We had just had, like, one of our first arguments and discussions. I was cool with a lot of the things, but he was late on rent for the second month in a row. And we had only been there for 3 months. I thought we had an understanding that he was going to go look for a job. I knew you and him were getting booked for some acting gigs, and it was going well at first.
Yeah.
We moved here, and it was pilot season, so they were just booking actors. But pilot season ends, it starts slowing down.
Right.
I told him, like, dude, you lucked out. It's not going to be normal. You're not going to get booked.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get a job. Little did we know, he didn't even attempt to find a job. He thought he was just going to be Mr. Hollywood right away just because the first month he was able to get booked like 20 days of that month.
But after further investigation, talking to him, he didn't want to get a regular job because
No.
he didn't want a paper trail.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he not want a paper
He
trail?
didn't want a paper trail because he didn't want to pay child support.
I'm like, of all the things, neither of us had any friends or family moving out here. So all we had was each other. So we're kind of depending on each other to have an income, something to help us stay afloat because we don't have anyone to fall back on. You're going to need to get a job at some point.
Yeah. After he put out the fire, he just sat around the house on Facebook, and how Shana knew, he had the laptop out on the couch right next to her, and she was just like, yeah, he's not even trying. He's showing no concern that his car is totaled.
Yeah.
And he's not even looking for a job. He knows he has no money to pay for this car.
And then I called you because I'm like sitting like looking over at him like, are you gonna tell him, or because at some point you're gonna come home and then he's not gonna be able to move the car because we had tandem parking where one person parks in front of the other, and he wasn't gonna be able to move that car out the way by the time you got home. So his car ended up stopping in the parking spot that was in the back. So like you couldn't get your car in there. He wasn't doing anything about it, showing no signs of urgency, nothing.
Oh, that car didn't even get towed away for a long time. Like, I got home that day and I had to help him push the car forward. Push the car forward so I can park my car. And that car sat there 4 months until he finally just junked it for a couple $100. He thought he was going to fix it, but
Oh, but did he give you that couple $100 to pay for his battery that you bought?
no, he didn't pay me back for the battery or his freaking alternator. And so technically he still owes me like $600.
So after that incident, he got mad at me because I had to tell Renji about his disaster of a car.
Finally, someone came and looked at the car. What set the car on fire was a problem he was told to fix before he moved out here.
So that was the car situation. From there, it was just him coming home at odd hours of the night, cooking dinner, like 5-course meals in the middle, like the dead of night, just being loud as he can be, trying to fumble for pans and pots and glasses. You could hear his whole process of trying to cook himself a meal in the middle of the night, and you have to get up for work at around like 4:30 in the morning.
I was waking up at 4, yeah. 'Cause I had to
Yeah.
be at work at 5:30 or something like that.
He was making all kinds of noise, waking me up, waking you up.
Even if you couldn't hear him, you could smell it because he only knew how to fry things in grease.
And the fire alarm was going off nightly, even like early in the morning. And then he would it was a mess. Like he went from being like okay and tolerable to like he just had no filter anymore.
It just snowballed. Didn't you go outside and even tell him, hey, dude, can you chill it? Like, Renji's trying to sleep. And then he tried to clap back at you like, well, I got to eat sometime.
Yeah, and I said that. I'm like, well, Renji's been waking up. Like, he didn't have a job. You were going to your job every day. So I'm like, he's the one paying for the bills right now. So if you could find it in your heart to stop cooking or at least warm something up, cook something early in the day, plan your day out to where you don't have to be waking people up in the middle of the night. Then he just out of nowhere was just like, oh, I know I could be more quiet. I know I could do that and plan my day, but I don't want to.
Dick.
Flat
I remember
out said
that.
Flat out said that.
That pissed me off so much.
It's like, so you're doing this. You're being loud, but you just don't care.
Some of those days, I remember you telling me he's been home all day on Facebook. He hasn't cooked. He hasn't done anything.
Nope.
And then he decided that time of night.
He would go and play basketball, come back. He had a whole day before you even got home where he could have planned his day. He could have cooked his meals. He could have done anything. But instead, he wanted to lollygag on the internet all day long, go play basketball, go be with his friends, come home, have sex with some random ass girl, and then realize that he's hungry,
And burn chicken at 3 a.m.
Exactly.
I tried to talk to him about that. And just like you said, he didn't care. He snapped at me and tried to blame it on you, saying that you were coming between me and him. He's like, I know what it's like to be under a spell with the girl, and I think Shauna's just getting in your head and these things aren't really bothering you. They're bothering her. I'm like, no, you setting off the fire alarm at 3 in the morning is pissing me the hell off because I'm the only one consistently paying all the bills.
Right.
If I didn't have my full-time job that let me work these 12-hour days, 6 days a week, I wouldn't be able to cover your end when you're late. So yes, I need my sleep. And he's just like, well, I can't help what time I'm hungry, so I'm just going to cook whenever I cook. It's like, God, like now that we're thinking back, like the list goes on. I remember one day, 4 p.m., I was getting home from work. I had just been stuck in traffic for an hour and a half. Finally got home. Just for reference, my trip home from work is supposed to take about half an hour in normal flowing traffic. That day, it took me an hour and a half to an hour 45 to get home. Had to pee so bad. Go to the bathroom. There's a big shit the size of my arm. Just in there. Just a king cobra. Just waiting for me to play the flute so it can come out and bite me. I mean, it did bite me. That stink just bit me right in the nose. And I'm just like, what in the hell? Why is there a king cobra turd staring back at me?
Wow.
I'm surprised he was able to shut the lid. There was so much shit in the toilet.
Wow.
I'm looking at it like, you just gonna take a shit and leave it. I was lost for words. I can understand if it was like late night and he was up drinking and he got drunk and just pooped.
You don't even drink.
Yeah. He had no excuse. 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I told this story to my other friend, right? He brought up a very valid point. So all you saw was the turd? Yeah. Was there toilet paper? No. So are you telling me he just took a big turd and got up and didn't even wipe his ass?
Just walked away, wiped his hands clean, and just what?
I was just so grossed out. I'm like, you're right. There was no toilet paper in there. He just took that big ass shit
And just walked away.
and just airbended his ass clean or something. There was no trail of toilet paper, nothing. Did he just hop in the shower and rinse his little doo-doo crumbs down the sink or the drain? Who knows?
And then that brought me to the fact where I'm like, people make fun of, other people having shit stains on their underwear. And I wonder why. It's like, don't you wipe your ass after you shit? Like, why would you have stains on your underwear that bad?
Apparently not. So,
and it makes sense.
So, less than 2 weeks later, I come home again. This time, a little later, 6 in the afternoon. Gotta pee again. Go to the bathroom. And guess who returns? King Cobra Ekans, just waiting to be caught by a Pokeball. Another arm-sized shit is looking me square in my eye.
God.
Once again, no toilet paper.
This guy was so out of control, I can't even tell you. I can't even make this shit up. We might have been, I think we were on vacation somewhere. We didn't tell him because we didn't want him inviting people over and having girls over and stuff like that. So we conveniently didn't tell him, but he noticed that we didn't have our PlayStations out. We kind of had it locked in our room. I guess he found out at some point that we were gone. I had taken, we had a little ottoman, little footstool that went with the couch that he, for some reason, would take to his bedroom and just have it there. And I'm just like, why do you need this? You need a little chair? Like, you have a bed. Like, why can't you just sit on your bed? So I was
No,
wondering.
he didn't have a bed. That was our air mattress we let him use.
Yeah.
That was our bed.
See, the list keeps going.
That he was supposed to temporarily use because we had bought a real bed
Yeah.
after like 2 weeks of living in LA.
So, yeah, exactly. Because he was sleeping on the floor before that. So, for some reason, he just kept having the little ottoman in his room. So, I'm thinking, like, is he just using this for when his guests come over or whatever? So, we didn't tell him we left. And I put the ottoman in our bedroom because I didn't want him using it for, like, sex reasons or something like that. Like, imagine coming home and having, like, sex stains all over the couch that we all use.
Yeah.
And so we put it in the room, came back, the ottoman was sitting perfectly in the middle of the living room. So not only did you realize we were gone, but you helped yourself into our bedroom to get the ottoman that has nothing to do with you. Like, you don't even use it. Like, I don't even know what to use it for. Like, it bothered you that much to where you had to go in our room. If you're so comfortable doing something like that, what else do you do when we're not home?
Some of the things he did when we were even home were just outrageous. And
He did it right in front of us and did not have a care in the world. Had no decency whatsoever.
oh yeah, I got one last story to kind of wrap up his saga. This was the moment after everything you just heard, amongst other things that we didn't even mention. This was the final. All right, you have to go. We are both playing Destiny in the living room together. Had our headsets on, our PlayStation 4 Sony Gold 7.1 surround sound headsets. These were nice headsets, right? That will come into factor in just a little bit. He walks in with this gal. I don't even want to say girl because she was an older woman, a gal.
Noticeably older.
I wouldn't even call her a cougar. She had at least 20 years over him. I say she was more like a saber-toothed tiger, yellow Power Ranger, right? Saber-toothed tiger. She was easily in her late 50s, and he was I think he had just turned 30. They walk into the living room. We see them in the corner of our eye. She has a six-pack of Stella Artois. I remember that. We was looking at her like, ooh, fancy bitch. Got the nice beer. Got the Belgian beer. Okay, she's not a Bud Light gal. We're like, okay, whatever. Maybe this is some lady he met on set. Once again, I want to emphasize, she clearly looked way older than him. We're thinking maybe they're practicing lines or something, right?
At this point, I didn't even care. I'm just like, he been bringing so many kind of people in.
We go back to playing Destiny. They walk in the room. 10 minutes later, we hear some moaning and groaning from a certain saber-toothed tiger.
More like a rawr.
And she was moaning. And remember when I said the Sony Gold 7.1 surround sound headsets? We were playing pretty loud, and we could hear her moans over the ear headsets. That's all we could hear, on top of gunshots and team chats yelling at each other. He was busting this gal's back out. Remember that air mattress? He's busting her back out on my air mattress, my $20 Walmart air mattress. So that goes on for over an hour. She walks out. Her 1980s perm is all sweated out now. And then she just kind of walks off. I'm thinking, okay, maybe she's going home. No, she went out for a smoke, and then she came back in, and she had her cigarettes on one of those long cigarette holders.
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
People of a certain era smoke like that. I'm thinking, maybe this is a one and done thing, right? No, she came over frequently.
And I knew it was her because this is how bougie she was. She had a top of the line white Mercedes Benz. I remember it because I'm like, I ain't never seen this version of the Mercedes, because there's a certain like entry level that you see all the time, but then there's like the really fancy class of, I'm not a car person, so.
How we knew was one day we were coming home and she was parked in our spot.
Yeah.
Remember, his car was burnt and couldn't move. So she would park behind him, but that was our spot.
Right.
This lady drove a hardtop convertible AMG series Mercedes. That car's price tag was easily $160,000 entry.
Car person.
After talking to him about it finally, we find out this lady lives in Kobe Bryant's neighborhood. Rest in peace, Kobe. She owns 5 businesses. She's pretty much like a millionaire. I guess her backstory was she used to be an it girl around Hollywood. She used to mingle with the stars. She used to party with the athletes. But old age and bad genes kicked in, and she could no longer hang with the young gals. So I guess ever since age 30, all her celebrity friends just kind of pushed her aside because she wasn't the young it girl anymore. So she's grown resentful. And what I find out from him is she is trying to be his sugar mama. So that's why you're putting in work in the bedroom on her. I'm just like, maybe he's trying to get some money.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why he was trying not to judge why he was having sex with a lady almost twice his age. What? I don't know. It's so hard to just focus and not barf in my mouth. and
She
laugh.
wasn't bad looking, but you could tell that she was just.
She had some years on her. You could tell. So, no, what she did tell him was this. Look, I'm just looking for a man to stay in my life. I will change your life. She told him her backstory, and then she was like, why do you think I'm having sex with a guy on his air mattress?
Right.
We
I
could
was
have
just about
sex
to
back
say.
at my beach house, but I come here to your crappy apartment in K-Town and have sex on your air mattress. Here's the deal. I'll buy you a car. I'll dress you. I'll give you a monthly allowance. You just have to come live with me and be my man. I just want love in my life. I'm tired of playing games with these celebrities and these ball players because that time of my life is through. I just need a man. You don't even have to work. I got enough money for both of us.
Damn, sign me up.
I know. I was like, shit. Does she want an Asian boy too? Yeah, I'm down. You know?
I'll rub her feet. Shit.
We can watch Golden Girls and Oprah together.
Oh my god.
I'm down.
I'll wash her car.
Whatever, dude. Man,
I'll move in.
shit, man. I'll give her some. I'll put it in my mouth.
She might not be with it, but I'll give her some too.
I know. So, knowing all that, I'm like, okay, I get it. I thought this is what he was going to do. After we talked that night, she came over again. How I knew? Because I was woken up by her moans again. I was dead asleep in my bed. And I guess he had her against the wall because I could hear them thudding the wall. Like,
But
that's
hey,
how bad it is.
We was willing to live with it if he was gonna move out into her palace.
The windows were rattling, and I was mad because I was awake. But at the same time, I was like, you go, boy. But
Do not mess this up.
you better tone it down before she dies, because I don't think she's had sex like that ever. And
Oh my
she's getting older,
God.
so, she's kind of fragile. Anyways, I'm thinking he's going to move out. A couple weeks later, he's like, man, f that bitch. Apparently, she took him to one of their neighborhood get-togethers, and he saw all her friends all had money. Millionaires. They're asking him what he does, and they're all just kind of like looking down their nose at him like, oh, you're an up-and-coming actor? Pfft, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
They're still thinking they're just thinking maybe he's part of the help. He mows the lawn. He cleans the pool. She tries to introduce him as her man, but that fragile male ego kicked in like, man, I ain't going to sit here and look like she's my sugar mama. Then that kind of pissed him off. And then they got into an argument about the party or something. And she said some trigger words like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? And it triggered him because that's an exact same phrase he used on his kids. And he got mad. And he's like, oh, you're not going to talk to me like I'm one of your kids and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, bro, she's old enough to be your mother. So you guys are of
Technically.
different generations. Yeah. So of course she's going to talk to someone 25, 30 years younger than her like that.
And
You're a kid.
I know. He acts like a kid. He has the same tendencies. So, makes sense.
So he just broke it off and walked away. I'm like, hold up. So you're telling me you were already doing the hard part of having a sugar mama.
Right.
You were already having sex with her. So now you're going to walk away after weeks of gross, disgusting, loud sex in our apartment with her? And then he got mad at me about that. So at this time, I was just frustrated with him. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, look, I was trying to encourage you to do what you had to do with her, but it's about time I say this. You got to move out in 10 weeks. Remember the deal I gave you. I promised you could live with us for 6 months. In 10 weeks, it will be 6 months. You have failed to show me that you're trying. You've been late on rent every month since. I'm giving you 10 weeks to find a place to go. You could either try to make it in LA or take whatever little money you have and just go back home. Obviously, you're not ready to be out here.
Right.
You had a sugar mama that had 3 homes, and you weren't even smart enough to make that work. You were already having sex with her.
I know. The hard part's over. All you have to do is just do what she wants, you know?
He just had to cash out, but his fragile male ego wouldn't let him do that. He didn't want to be controlled by this woman. She wasn't even trying to control him. She's like, just don't leave me. Just be nice to me.
He had one job. One job. He had lodging. He had somewhere to stay. He had a car he could use. It's like,
Yeah.
any of these things, but you just don't want it because she has some trigger word that you didn't like. Come on, dude.
She had beachfront property. He messed that up. The 10-week countdown begins. No surprise here. He waited till the final week to start looking for an apartment.
He waited until the very last second.
And he tried to give me some sob story like, man, I still can't find a place and I got to be out in 5 days. I'm like, well, go back to Michigan. Go all the way back. I'm like, how much money you got? He's like $300. I'm like, that's enough to buy you a plane ticket.
Yeah.
You can fly home on Spirit for $150 right now.
Right.
The final day came and he finally found an apartment that day. It was New Year's Eve. I'm thinking you and I were going to have a nice seafood dinner. We had planned to celebrate at home.
Yeah.
I was at work. He was still at home waiting for me to come home to help him move. Like, dude, you had all day to move 3 garbage bags full of clothes.
Yep.
Well, I didn't have a ride there. You didn't have a ride anywhere else.
Exactly.
So just because I wanted him to leave, I just grabbed his shit and threw it in the car and drove him over there. I thought at the very least he was going to, move his stuff towards the door and wait. Or bring the stuff out when I got home. He waited for me to go all the way in the apartment and see his stuff was still lying around everywhere.
What an idiot.
And
he was horrible.
You would think that would be the end of it. A week or two after he moved out, he came by the apartment. I'm thinking he's just stopping by to say what's up. I didn't hate him. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
This dude stops by and tries to have one last confrontation with me. And he pulls me aside like, man, so what's up with us, man? We used to be homies and stuff like that. And what do you mean? He's like, so what's your deal with me? So what's up? I'm like, dude, I've been honest with you this whole time.
He's just a horrible person. Not a horrible person. He was just a horrible roommate.
Yeah, he was a horrible roommate. I was like, I don't hate him. It's just these were the things that happened and they didn't work out. Obviously, I don't want to live with the third wheel forever.
Right.
And we made that clear. But anyways, he had one last final confrontation and then try to throw you under the bus one last time, talking about, I'm still under your spell, but I'll get over it.
It's like at some point, you just have to understand you are the problem.
That wrapped up that saga. It's kind of disappointing that it's been 5 years now and we haven't spoken since. That's what happens when you live with the wrong people, though.
Yeah.
Some things can get undone. Some things will stay with you forever. I'm a super mature person. You would think we'd still be able to, come together and communicate. It's like we're cordial at best right now. But for someone that's been my ride or die, it's like I'm kind of disappointed that he's not in my life anymore. Just like we said in the podcast about outgrowing people and moving on, sometimes those chapters in your life have to end. Y'all can still be cool when you see each other, but friendships don't last forever.
Exactly.
Whew.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. Very therapeutic.
Oh, yeah.
We relived some fun memories, and we relived a lot of shitty memories.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a part of life, You can't just regret the things you've done. You have to go through things to learn and to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Am I mad about some of these things? Yes, but do I regret it? No. Because things happen for a reason. Anyways, those are a few of our roommate stories.
Look, guys, friends or not, you got to choose your roommates wisely because that's the person you have to live with and get along with. I know for a fact that I never want to have roommates again, and we've never had another roommate ever again after that.
No.
We have sucked it up. We have found cheaper living situations, and we just make do with the two of us.
Yeah.
And that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Never again.
I know we all want to save money, but you can't put a price on your peace of mind. Make whatever other sacrifices you have to. Stop going out to eat so much. Stop buying alcohol. Stop buying video games. But those few extra 100 or 2, 300 you may save by having a third wheel in your place isn't worth it sometimes. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in this episode of the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm Fan Service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.